Hello, hello. This is Jonas tuning in with another episode of the Micro Solidarity podcast. And this episode is a bit different than the usual ones. It is very much not a Zoom call. You could even say it's the opposite of a Zoom call. Jesse, Evers, and I climbed a mountain together last week. 2 mountains, actually. And we were noticing some interesting thoughts around how taking risks together contributes to building trust. And me in particular, I've been thinking about this for a long while, what I can learn from mountaineering about community building. So on one evening, we sat down and had a longer conversation about this topic of taking risks together. What does it have to do with building trust and community building? What parallels can we draw from the things we learned about ourselves in the outdoors to normal life? And yes, this is going to be the next 50 minutes. Before we dive into the conversation, there will be a minute-long montage of the first climb we did, just to give a bit of context to the things we will be talking about later on in the conversation. If you're only listening to this, then you can just listen to the wind noises and our funny comments and imagine us on a mountain. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then maybe it gives you a better idea of the kinds of things we're talking about later on. Right, enjoy.
We are going up there. I'm gonna be scared.
It's also weird how just having a rope on, also knowing that you're not actually playing.
We went up there and then we came down and now we are here. That's it.
Cool, very professional.
Oh, yes, that is us.
Hello, Jesse.
Hello. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too, on this mountain.
How did this happen?
Yeah, I don't know. I just came across each other. I can share a bit of setup for this conversation.
Sure.
And then we can just flow.
Yeah.
I didn't really plan it as like an interview.
Yeah.
I think I'm really curious what you think about this stuff. I have some thoughts.
Yeah.
Maybe I can start and then
Yeah.
we can just jam. So the context I'm thinking is micro solidarity.
Yeah.
Which is a community building practice for belonging and meaningful work, or purposeful work in the world. And like one key element of micro solidarity are scales as a concept. So like different group sizes are good for different things. A group of 1 is good for something else, then a group of 2, then a group of 5, then a group of 15, and a group of 150. Like. Mm-hmm. And one other way to think about that is not in group size, but in like depth of trust within a group. And that might change, like the group size or the kind of trust that is possible within a given group might change over time as well, irrespective of the size of the group.
Yeah.
Like a group of 5 that you know really well, you might have a similar level of trust with, and with a group of 2, where you just like have a lot of surface area with one person you can really trust. Mm-hmm. And what I've been really fascinated by is going to the mountains with different people and noticing what that does to our relationship, or how our relationship influences what's possible for us in the mountains. And we are in the mountains together.
It's true.
And, right now, actually. And we don't know each other that well.
Yeah.
Like we've met twice before going on this adventure.
3 times, yeah, not a ton.
Yeah. 2 of which were kind of running an event together / being at an event together.
Yeah.
Which were kind of intense events and like cool bonding experiences. So that was in the context of the Micro Solidarity Network, and that's why I felt super easy about saying like, hey, let's just go to the mountains together. Mm-hmm. I don't know like if you're trustworthy in the mountains, but somehow I have a feeling you are. Yeah. Because I experienced you in another context. So that's how we kind of got here. And then yesterday we tried a big climb and bailed halfway. And I'm curious to get into that a little bit, like how that was for both of us and what that did maybe also to how we approach this next climb that we're going to do tomorrow. But yeah, I think my basic hypothesis that I'm like curious to discuss a little bit is like taking risks together and surviving. Increases trust. Yeah. And I have a hunch there's nothing better for building trust between people than like doing real shit. Like something like going to the mountains.
Stakes.
With stakes, yeah, exactly. And I'm just curious how all of this lives in you. Like, maybe do you have some initial thoughts about this?
Yeah. I definitely agree that being in high stakes situations with people like makes the connection either way better or way worse really fast. I definitely think some of my best friends, part of the reason that we're so tight is because we've been in a lot of high stakes situations together. And there's also, I think I also have somewhat of a desire to end up in high stakes situations with people I'm good friends with, because it's like, all right, like here's the crucible basically. And I think with you, it was fairly obvious to me that like you knew what you were doing much more than I do, and were stoked about going and trying some shit and seeing what happened. And I had a pretty high level of trust in your ability to just like deal with situations, even if I was out of my depth. So I was pretty like, yeah, sure, let's do it. I don't have any real qualms about what's going to happen beyond the normal, like you're taking a risk, there are risks thing. Yeah, that's interesting, the kind of willingness to like what's needed to like have that feeling of like, yes, I trust you this much. Yeah, I trust you enough so we can go climb like a scary mountain together. And I trust you to like know your shit somehow. I mean, I think part of it, this is not like, I don't have a generalized version of this, but I just can tell from interacting with you on a number of occasions that like you're not like full of shit. Like it's just like, okay, if Jonas says something, it's probably pretty true.
There's something like, there's a principle there that I find really interesting, is like kind of we met in a context of a larger ecosystem, and we had like low stakes ways of like getting to know each other a bit and figuring out like, are you full of shit or not? And like similar for me, I pretty quickly had a feeling of like, you're like a no nonsense kind of person, and it's easy to trust you and to be open with you as well. And I think that's just such a cool thing as a principle for community building as well, is like creating lots of opportunities for people to have low stakes interactions, and then like kind of nudging them into the deep end a little bit totally. Once they had like a kind of chance to orient themselves in the social field. And it's like, who are my people in this larger network maybe that I click with really well.
And I think it also allows the people who like kind of are holding more weight in the network to like judge who they want to put responsibility on or offer responsibility to or whatever before. Like, you don't have to just be like, here's a new person, I guess I'll just like cross my fingers and hope they can do this thing that they say they're going to do. Yeah. It's
been a really fun exploration over the last few years, like this kind of project dating with people. It's like when I'm like, we could maybe work together somehow. It's like, okay, what's a kind of small experiment where nothing can really go wrong? And we can like kind of like dogs sniff each other's butts a little bit.
Should we do that?
Maybe. I mean, we both had a shower this
That's
morning.
true, yeah,
Maybe wouldn't
alright.
that be that bad?
All right, off camera.
Yeah. I'm curious how you experienced, because yesterday what happened is we started a climb that I thought was challenging but doable for us. And then halfway up it, we decided to bail and kind of get off the climb and take a different way down. Because like I started experiencing some doubts. You, like when I shared them with you, you also like said like, yeah, I'm also experiencing some of this. Maybe let's not die today and save that for another day,
for tomorrow.
I'm curious how you experienced the time before we had that conversation. What was going on in you, and how was it for you to be changing the plan together somehow?
Yeah. Changing the plan together, I think, felt good. It was like we were pretty on the same page. The time before it, I think because it was like deeper in than I've gone before, I kind of didn't have a great point of reference. I was kind of just like, all right, like this is somewhat difficult and I am somewhat scared, or somewhere between not and very scared, depending on the moment. And I think I was kind of deferring to you on the just like, are we being idiots front, because I didn't feel like I had a good sense of that. But I definitely did have the feeling looking up at the second ridge that we were going to climb right before we bailed of like, that looks like pretty exposed and it's pretty late, and this seems like the kind of thing where we might be out till like 11 if this takes forever. So I think I had, I don't know, like trepidation feels like too strong a word, but just a little bit of like, this might be long. Yeah.
Which for you is not necessarily an argument not to do it.
Yeah. But I could also feel that like my ability to do the like fear shutdown maneuver that's kind of necessary was going down. So it was just going to end up taking longer and longer and longer to do the same stuff as time went on.
Yeah. That's interesting, because I was also thinking like, I know I could probably like push through this, and I'm sure you could as well. And like worst case is like we just take out the rope and like protect everything, and just gonna take ages. And I had a little bit of like hesitation whether to like bring it up, because I was like, we're on this epic mission together, and it's kind of the purpose that it's a little bit hard, and we kind of want to get a little bit fucked. But then I was like, it's like, this is not the kind of, I'm gonna go for a bike ride that's 200 k's long and just like it doesn't matter like how fucked I am. I can always like cycle for another 10 k's. This is like a high stakes situation where we really need to be on top of our game somehow. And so I was like, I think it's like reasonable to take a leap of faith and not like be afraid that our friendship will break because I propose we maybe like take a turn.
I'm also wondering if a little bit of context about like what we were actually doing would be helpful in this whole conversation, which was just, we're on a route where if you're Jonas's ability level, you basically don't need a rope. And if you're my ability level, you sometimes do need a rope, and parts where you don't need a rope, I was still very scared because it was very exposed and it wasn't necessarily that hard of climbing, but the consequence level was high. And so like the spot where we bailed was like the last spot where we really could bail, and then we would have to do the whole thing, and it was much more exposed than what we'd done so far. I'm so curious about risk and consequence, because what you were just saying is like your ability level was actually fine, like it was fine for your ability level, but the consequence is really high. So like it sounds like the risk of falling off is actually really low because it's not that hard. But just the consequence, like if it happens, it's just really bad. It's like the ultimate consequence. And I have my own answers to this, but I'm curious how this lives in you. Like, what makes a good amount of risk to take? That's kind of just fun. And also that has that quality of like, hey, if we do this together, we will come out stronger the other side. Sometimes it's kind of hard to tell, to be honest. Like, I mean, especially in the thing that I'm doing for the first time. I mean, I've done a lot of scrambling, and I've done like a pitch or two of like kind of scrambling. but because I kind of like wasn't sure how hard it was supposed to be or something, I was kind of just like, I guess I'm just going to try until I'm like too freaked out to continue. But I think in general, I'm much more comfortable taking more risk with less consequence. Like there are certainly categories of risk where it's risky, but like the shitty outcome is like you break your leg or something like that. And with that kind of thing, I mean, even yesterday this was going on where the same difficulty level pitch of scrambling where I would fall 20 meters instead of like 150 meters, it was way easier. And so then the other part of the equation is like, how able do I think I am to just like shut the fear down and do it? Because really nothing we were on yesterday, including the parts that we roped up for, was something that I'm incapable of doing. It's just that I would have, on the roped up sections, if I hadn't had a rope, I would have been so scared that I then probably would have fallen because I would have been so gripped. So I don't know, I guess it's kind of this balance of like, how risky is it actually? How high are the consequences, and how able am I to just like get rid of the part of my brain that will lead to the consequences? Yeah.
That's interesting.
And also, there's like a how much control do I have over the whole thing? Like I've definitely been in risky situations where it was just kind of like, there's not that much I can do here. I'm just like in a risky situation, and I will hopefully exit it soon. So
But what's happening for me as I listen to is like I'm pattern matching like this kind of climbing, which has no inherent purpose. Like it's just there for our enjoyment and for like having a good story to tell afterwards. But I'm pattern matching from that experience to like real world stuff of like doing a project that's risky or where there's stakes involved. Or like doing community building where it's like you're putting your reputation on the line maybe, or you're taking a risk by inviting people into a thing that you spend some time building. And like I'm constantly thinking about this in my own like community building, community organizing adventures, where there's just parts of it that I like either don't want to do, which is like kind of akin to my backpack is heavy and my legs hurt. Like I just want to stop walking. Because it's uncomfortable. And then there's parts where it's like, I know that if I fuck this up, there's going to be bad consequences for the project or for our organization or whatever. And that kind of feels like the other kind of hardship that we are encountering here in the mountains, which is there's like a cliff that I can fall off. And I think the same capacity to look at that, like look at the drop and be like, oh yeah, that's serious. I should not fall down there, but at the same time not freak out. Stay calm and rational and like think about a strategy for how to get up the mountain without falling in the most efficient way. Like that, I think that way of approaching scary situations maps very closely somehow to like real life. And I think the collective capacity of a group to do that together as well, to face the complexity or the consequence, can also grow over time. So I'm curious how it will be tomorrow. Maybe we will be better able to read each other after having had that experience yesterday. And like the communication will flow easier, or like I don't know, like we will see what will happen. But I have a hunch that we learned something together somehow, and our little dyad that we are will have more capacity tomorrow.
But I think there's also something that's happening here that also happens in the like community building or whatever organizational context of like one person can kind of like be less scared than other people or have more capacity and then be like, and you too can do this, see? And like in this, you're doing that because you're way more experienced than I am. And in like community building contexts, like there have been a number of times where I had a friend who like was really excited about some idea but was kind of freaked out about actually trying it because the consequences felt high, and the consequences weren't actually as high as they seemed, and I or a group of us could just be like, hey, like we got you, just do it, we'll do the logistics. The worst case scenario is like not that many people come, it's fine. And then they're suddenly like, oh yeah, okay, and are scared and then do it, and then afterwards they're like, oh yeah, that was totally chill. So that's
true. Like it's kind of creating a context in which people can experience where is the edge of my capacity actually, and like get into touch with that, and then expand it a little bit over time, maybe.
Yeah, and I also think there's kind of a funny interplay between the like physical world consequences stuff, like mountains, and the like project or organizational level risk. I think, at least for me, I think the more I do stuff like this, the less that stuff feels risky, because the shitty outcome isn't usually like I'm gonna die or be homeless or anything. It's like I'm gonna be embarrassed and maybe like lose work, and that would be bad, but like it doesn't feel quite the same as like, oh wow, if I fall I'm gonna die.
Yeah, it puts things into perspective like, in a very real way. Yeah, it's true.
Does like, do you think you approach risk management and or like putting the fear of risk out of your mind or stuff like that in a similar way in a like non-outdoor setting?
Yeah, I think like there's usually a little bit more noise involved, because it's like, as you say, it's not as direct of like, oh shit, if I fall I will die. Like being on a cliff, you know immediately like when you're in a situation like this, but like I don't know what you described about a friend that says like, oh, I want to do the thing but I don't know, maybe it's too risky. Like there's stories we tell ourselves about what is the reality that we're in, and then there's the actual reality. And I think I'm trying to employ the same mindset of like just like do the thing, stay present in the real world as well, or in the other, like in the valleys of the world. But like I think the challenge there for me is often just having the clarity of mind to know like what is the risk right now, what's at stake, how much is really at stake, how much is just me being freaked out because I'm doing it for the first time or something. And then knowing what to do about it. Like on the mountain, it's very clear what to do about it. Just climb safely. Put your hands on the rock. Like
don't fall.
Like, my body knows how to do that without me thinking about it much. So there's like, in that sense, it's different. But I think on an energetic level of like, kind of the mindset that is there first before I start thinking about stuff, it's very similar somehow. Like I often try to remind myself actively of like, hey, where are you? Like if this were a climb, what part of the climb is this right now? What kind of a situation? And how would you react if you were in the mountains? And that
you literally do that.
Yeah, I literally do that. It's like, I don't know, it's Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock in the office, and there's still a big task I need to do this week that I don't want to do because it involves staring at spreadsheets for hours or something. It's like, okay, this is the point where the backpack becomes painful, and like it's still 2 hours to go until you like arrive at camp for the night. And you know you can do that. Like I can just keep going, and it's fine. I will get there. Or like, I don't know, there's a project that I really care about, so it feels like it's very risky or there's a lot of at stake. So I tend to like hide from it a little bit or not face it fully, and then I'm like, well, what part of the climb is it? I think this is the part where I try not to look down or like pretend pretend this is actually not that bad, but I'm still scared and I'm not moving much at all. It's like, okay, how about like we'll take a look at the cliff and then we take a deep breath and then we continue. So interesting.
That's cool. That's fun that you, or fun's the wrong word, but interesting that you like actually do that literally.
Yeah, it helps a lot. Also, like this metaphor of climbing a mountain is just such a good metaphor for reaching goals somehow, and like understanding the terrain you're moving through. Like having a map for the terrain that you're moving through really helps in the mountains and also in the real world. And like what a useful map is, it looks very different there, and it's also very dependent on the context. But sometimes I would be like, wait, do I actually know this landscape that I'm in right now? Like maybe not. Maybe let's do some exploration first and like see if someone else has explored it, and I can borrow some terminology or some frameworks or like some way to just mentally move through this landscape that I'm in.
Sorry, go ahead.
No.
Do you have an example of like trying to build yourself a map in non-mountain world? Also, I'm gonna make an annoying noise for a second with my mic because I'm cold.
I think Yeah, we developed a leadership training this year, and there I was really trying to understand, I think I have a lot of intuitive understanding of leadership, but when you do a training, you can't just vibe it. You kind of need to make things more explicit.
Yeah.
And there, I was just trying to understand what are the things I know intuitively, what is that inner landscape, and also how are other people thinking about this, and what maps already exist in the outside world, and and then trying to kind of just connect the dots somehow between these different things. And it's I recognize this. I also think about it this way, or I completely disagree with that, and I really don't want to do it because I think that's a very shitty way of living leadership. And triangulating what is a good map somehow.
Interesting.
Yeah. And you've also done a lot of other outdoor shit, in your life. You're a very seasoned adventurer. I feel like. I wonder if there's any moments that you remember where you're I learned something there that I kind of take with me, and that I that serves me somehow in life.
I mean, I do think the biggest one is the thing I was saying a minute ago of the stakes usually aren't that high, because when the stakes really are really fucking high, it's holy shit, the stakes are so high. And so then in situations where the shitty outcome is something that I will still be physically fine afterwards, I think I just am much less concerned about it. I think I got into motorcycles when I was really pretty young, which is not a good time to get into motorcycles. And from ages especially probably ages 18 to 20, just did a lot of really stupid stuff, and had quite a number of moments of wow, that really could have been really bad. And that has made me smarter about how I ride motorcycles, but B, also made me feel like I have a pretty strong feeling of oh shit, I'm about to die, and how risky that feels. And then other stuff I just don't think about that hard, I think, a lot of the time. And obviously I'm single and don't have kids, and so a lot of this shit's kind of different, or very different if you have other people who depend on you, but financial risks don't feel that risky to me. I have a lot of friends I can stay with if I try to do some project and it fails, or things like that. I don't know. Most of it's just kind of if I can get to a supermarket within a day and I'm not going to die on the way there, I'll probably be okay.
That's a very low bar for am I okay or not?
Yeah.
That's very good.
I'm trying to think if there's anything a little bit less bleak than that or something, but that it does feel like a big one to me.
I mean, yeah, it sounds by going to the very extreme experience of oh shit, this is very intense.
Yeah.
There's a lot on the line. Then coming back to normal life, it's this is so comfortable and easy. And
yeah, I mean, obviously there's still periods of major discomfort.
Yeah.
And there can be a lot of emotional discomfort with risks where the consequences aren't physical.
Yeah.
But I think that just the mental load of the risk itself feels lower.
Yeah. That's cool.
Do you have any others?
Yeah, I think there's actually something around leadership as well. Where there's this group of friends that I go to the mountains with since we were teenagers, and we still go to the mountains together every year. This year actually it's 3 times, which is outrageously much compared to the last years, which is very nice. I'm very happy about it. But there's such a natural, organic way in which we take turns leading the group when we're hiking somewhere or backcountry skiing, skin climbing up a mountain, and the people in front know it's the kind of right now they are taking the steering wheel, so to speak, and they're having a disproportionate say in which route are we going to take up the mountain, or they have more time to look at the landscape when taking a break before the others arrive, so they have already more information and maybe some ideas, and but it kind of constantly switches and shifts who is filling that role.
Yeah.
And that's really cool somehow. It feels like we're really on an eye level, and we know we all have lots of capacity. so when someone else is in front, I don't worry.
Yeah.
I can focus on myself or just enjoy the scenery, or if I'm having a hard time, can just like kind of be with the discomfort and move through that.
Yeah.
Or like if I'm the second person in the line, then maybe I can support them by like looking at the map occasionally and giving them some information, or like,
Yeah.
and other people do that as well, and we kind of play really well together. So there's this one thing of like knowing when you're taking responsibility, and then there's the counterpart to it, which is like there's a lot of appreciation when people put in work for the group.
Yeah.
It's like really valued highly. And I don't know, like a good example is last winter we were on a ski traverse and we stayed in one hut for 2 nights. And so like we had a kind of one like free for all, we do whatever we want day where we didn't have to like make it to the next hut.
Yeah.
And so we just like hiked up some couloirs and skied down them. And the way that works is like you walk with your skis and the skins on the bottom as far as you get, and then you like strap them to your backpack and just like boot pack up the rest. And with the snow conditions that we had, that was just a really exhausting job because you just sunk into your hip, and like it was very crumbly, everything, and so it was like kind of an exhausting job. But it was clear like whoever does that, whoever like breaks trail on this, will also get to ski like the first line.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like playing rock paper scissors, like who will get to lead?
Yeah.
Because there was like no discussion about it, that there would not be a perk attached to doing that like shitty hard job. Like things like that. Yeah. And I don't know, like other more subtler forms of leadership, like checking in, making sure that everyone's okay, or like kind of facilitating group decisions a little bit, like asking every now and then, like, hey, are we still discussing, like, we're not getting a bit off topic right now, like I think this and that were the kind of important considerations about how, like, which way to take or to ski down this or not, or and like again, different people do that at different times, and it's a kind of very well regulated group somehow. Yeah. And that's kind of my ideal model for what a leaderful group looks like. I'm trying to like look at other groups that I'm a part of and be like, okay, what made that possible, and how can we bring more of that in here?
This is, I think, the same thing that you're saying, but a little bit different in some ways. Of also like, if the trust level is high, then you don't have to worry as much. There's less like meta worrying about like, oh, if I like express that I need something at the moment, that'll be bad. And like these long motorcycle trips I take with friends, it's like 4 to 6 weeks, and we're off-road a ton of the time, and shit is just constantly hitting the fan in various ways, and we have done it enough now for there to be a fairly unspoken, like, it's pretty obvious to all of us who's having a shitty day, whether it's just like a mentally shitty day or a, like, I got pretty hurt yesterday shitty day or whatever. And the other people will just like do the stuff that needs to get done, and that person doesn't really need to deal with it. And that's really nice to just be like, wow, I'm having a dog shit day, like, or got really sick or whatever, and you don't have to like think about anything other than like, okay, I'm sick, I need to get better.
Yeah, I think the like kind of micro-solidarity principle that this speaks to me is like kind of seeing like a group. As like, I'm not here on my own with you. We're here together somehow. And if you're having a shitty day tomorrow, I'm not going to do that climb. I'd be like, okay, see you later. Like, here's some water. Like, be fine. Like, we are kind of a unit in this. And it sounds like with your motorcycle friends, it's similar. And with like my other mountain friends, I also know that everyone thinks of the group as like a bigger entity than just the collection of the individuals somehow. That's really cool.
And I feel like that makes it really easy to go into high risk situations because everyone's just going to deal.
And also knowing that you know knowing that other people will say when they really have a bad feeling about something. I think that's something that the day yesterday did for me in our mountain buddiness. Is being like, okay, I know that you will say when you're fucking scared. And I don't have to like constantly worry. It's like, are you just like pushing past some point that you shouldn't be pushing past. That really helps. Where like there's enough trust, as you say, to be like, hey, I'm not comfortable with this. I want to go down, or I don't want to like motorcycle down that road, or like, whatever's the equivalent to that word. I really don't know. But, that like decisions are really made in a way that everyone can afterwards execute on them. Because no one's being overridden in the process out of fear of losing status or something.
And at the same time, like there will be real disagreements, and there also has to be enough trust to just be like, even if we don't ever come to an agreement on this, we'll at least figure out like what to do. On the motorcycle trips, like there's one of us who likes to like be in towns more and stuff, and two of us who are kind of like, I'm trying to like be in the shit all the time. And we just figured out eventually that was what was going on. And so sometimes one of us will go to a city and the other two of us will like do some other thing for a couple days, and then we'll meet somewhere, and like it's a little bit of a bummer, and at the same time it's way better than either not doing the trips or being resentful. And so like we just know that it's not like one of us being separated from the other two of us for 2 days is going to cause like a rift. It's just cool, this is a 6-week trip, it's fine.
It's like there's space for different kind of preferences and needs to be accommodated for somehow.
And some amount of willingness to compromise.
I think that's really important. And I often find that if I compromise, like very quickly I find that I'm having as much fun as I was thinking I can only have with the other option.
Totally.
Like last on our last big ski traverse with this other group. Maybe we need a name for this group. I keep talking about them a lot to different people, and I always refer to as like these mountain friends of mine. Anyway.
Das Group.
Die Gruppe. Sorry.
Inevitable.
Like we had to take a decision whether to finish the route or to stay 2 nights as we had planned, and then probably not be able to finish because bad weather was coming in on one hut. So it's like, okay, do we just stay for 1 night here, push on, and we kind of escape the bad weather before it arrives, or we stay here tomorrow, do like a chill tour, and then ski down the other way, and cut the whole thing a day short. And I really preferred the second option because I was a bit beat, and I wanted to just have a nice time with my friends as well. We've been going pretty hardcore the whole time until then, pretty non-stop. And one other person in the group also preferred the kind of shorter option, and the other 3 preferred the longer one. And we had a very long conversation about it. And then at some point I was like, my preference is not that strong. I don't need to push on. I don't need to push like for my option. I know that I will be able to have fun if we keep going. And this is a time for me to just like do what someone else prefers and learn how to like that. And I think that mode of I can learn how to like something is also something that I'm taking back to real life a lot. It's from the very small scale, like, everything hurts, but how can I still have fun? To like a bigger decision about like, how do we spend the next 2 days, this way or that way? I think that's a good skill to have.
Not getting like locked into like, this is the thing that I want, even if you really check in with it. I feel like it's often like that. It's like, or at least for me, I'll like be so stoked for this one particular thing, and then after a while of advocating for it, it's kind of the same deal. It's like, do I actually care that? Maybe I actually just don't really care that much. Okay, whatever.
That's it. Cool. Feel pretty empty.
I have something going on about like deciding what acceptable risk is, but I don't have any good path to it.
Do you have a question about it?
I guess it's just kind of like, how do you decide what the acceptable level of risk is, and then how do you just like accept the level of risk once you've decided that you're going to take it? Because it's easy to like get in the situation that you decided to get yourself into and then like second guess the whole thing,
Yeah.
but it doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
And I certainly do that all the time,
Yeah.
and I find myself somewhere like, why am I both like being scared and being annoyed that I put myself in the situation, even though I decided to do it, both in these kinds of contexts and in like projects and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the second guessing bit is interesting. Yeah. I think for me, like the acceptable level of risk thing is really like a mix of probability and consequence.
Yeah.
So either it is highly unlikely that something bad's going to happen, but if it would go badly, that would be really bad.
Yeah.
Like the climbing thing, where I know like there's little ways in which I can fall off this because I've climbed similar stuff hundreds of times,
Yeah.
and like I know what my body's capable of, and I can assess the terrain somehow. But if it happens, it's really bad. Or the other way around, where it's like maybe it's more likely that something goes wrong,
Yeah.
but if it goes wrong, it doesn't go all the way wrong. And
Yeah.
like there's some safeguards. Maybe I have a rope on. Like,
Yeah.
I just fall 5 meters.
Yeah.
Like not.
Who
forever.
knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's the mountain way of thinking about it for me.
Yeah.
Is either unlikely, high consequence, or more likely but less consequence.
Yeah.
And then in the end, it's a gut decision of like,
Yeah.
what do I feel like accepting right now, and how
Yeah.
much capacity do I have to put myself in a situation
Yeah.
where the risk is higher,
Yeah.
and not freak out, but like stay present to it. And
Yeah. Yeah, I think one way in which I've thought about this a ton in my life, and this might be a little bit out of the scope of this conversation we've been having, I don't know, but is like also who else do I need to take into consideration when
Yeah.
I decide how much risk I'm going to take,
Yeah.
and how do I decide how much I should take other people's whatever into consideration. I mean, with motorcycles, it's a fairly obvious, and climbing too, it's
Yeah.
just kind of like, if I died, that would be bad for others as well. And like, how do you think about how much it's okay to put yourself in situations
Yeah.
like that? And that might kind of speak to the like, yeah, I'm single and don't have kids thing.
Yeah.
Like, your calculus on what work risks you can reasonably take, even if you feel fine with them, might be really different.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of a hard thing to get to a clear answer on.
Yeah, I think in work things for me is really also about like, okay, does this endanger the whole organization
Yeah.
that other people depend on, and that is not mine to squander and like fuck up?
Yeah.
Like, if I do that with my one-person coaching business, it's only I that suffers.
Yeah.
But if that's the small NGO that I'm building with a bunch of other people, then they will be mad at me, rightfully so. Like, if I take on a risk on their behalf that
Yeah.
they were not willing to take.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And then the other thing was about second guessing. It's like, how do you, once you decide
Yeah,
the
like
level
you've
of
already
risk-
decided,
Yeah.
so like it'd be better to not than
Yeah.
be like, oh, I should have fucking done something
Yeah,
different.
yeah, yeah.
But it's hard to escape it
Yeah.
sometimes.
Like I find in the mountains it's really easy for me because often there's just no choice. Like I just have to get up to get
Yeah.
down again, or I just have to walk back to the car.
Yeah.
But yeah, in normal life I also get it a bunch. where
Yeah.
I'm like, would there have been a better option? Or
Yeah.
is this the smartest way? Or do I really want this? Or
Yeah.
does this get us where we want to get? Or,
Yeah. Maybe the like equivalent in the mountains might be something more like, would I do that again?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
was that stupid or was
Yeah.
that calculated?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very hard to know. I think.
Yeah.
How much luck is involved?
Right,
in
that's
it,
the
and,
thing. It's so hard to know
Yeah.
if you're getting lucky or if you're skilled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think in some cases it's possible to know.
Hmm.
I'm thinking of one instance where on our last ski tour we were skiing down a glacier with the rope on because there was lots of crevices around. And I was in the front taking the decision to like keep the rope on for the last steep bit because it looked like there's lots of possibilities to fall into a hole.
Yeah.
And it's better if there's 4 other people holding you when you fall into a hole.
Yeah.
But the kind of weighing of different risk factors is such that if you get into an avalanche with the rope on, that's bad.
Yeah.
Also with the rope on, you have to stay closer together, then you might like want to be in avalanche terrain.
Yeah.
And so because I was the only one who was able to see it somewhat, like I was the one to say I would recommend this, and the others were like, yes, we trust you. And then when we actually skied into it, we were like, fuck, like this is way like longer and way steeper and like way more wind loaded than we would like it to be. But at that point we were already in it. So like stopping to take the rope off and like coil the rope and like stand there with 5 people also didn't seem like a smart move. So we like just kind of puckered through it, and it went fine, came out the other side, nothing happened. But that was like, it was very clear that there was luck involved in like, getting through that. And I think you can tell often that you're like, oh shit, I'm really out of my depth, but I can't influence the situation anymore now. I just have to hope that it goes well. And I think the job is to minimize the instances of when that happens.
And it's inevitable to happen unless you like sit on the couch forever. You will always get in some of those.
Yeah, that's life.
And probably true in a work context as well.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Do you have any, I don't know how to end a conversation like this gracefully. Do you have any last words, Jesse?
It's just kind of fun to talk about this with someone who I think sees it similarly. Like, I think I, particularly in the outdoors, but I guess probably in like a work context too, tend to be okay taking a high level of risk compared to like a lot of the other people I encounter. And I have thought about it a lot, and I have rarely talked about it with anyone very much because like you have to have someone else who feels similarly about it. So it's fun to explore.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
I'm also happy because these thoughts around like, how does mountaineering relate to the normal life, and what am I learning here that I can take back, and how does it, like, how can I apply the lenses of like community and group dynamics and these things that I know from other contexts here as well, like where are the parallels, and there's also not many people that I can talk with about that. Like my other friends, they're like, when I talk to them about it, it's like, yeah, you're a nerd. We're just having fun in the mountains.
Oh, actually, there does feel like there's something like fairly salient here to me, which is the difference of like that you said earlier of like, ouch, this hurts, but I can just keep kind of doing it indefinitely if I just decide that I'm going to, versus there's actual risk here that I need to like make sure I'm being smart about. And I think that is super applicable to like a lot of daily life and group dynamics and stuff like that, because there's tons of shit that's like, is it risky? Not really. It's just like a lot of annoying work. If you decide that it's worth it, then just do it and don't think about it too hard.
Put your head down and trudge.
Like, fuck. Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Sick.
To
another adventure tomorrow.
Yeah, should be good.
I hope this was somewhat useful. Very curious. Oh, my foot is mega asleep.
Nice. You want to hit the button?
Yeah, I can do that. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that conversation. If you had similar experiences, if you want to have similar experiences, if this sparked your curiosity at all, please do reach out to me or Jesse. I think we're both happy to chat about this stuff, and maybe even organize an event around it at some point. So hit us up. And one more thing I wanted to mention: the climb the next day went really well. We survived, we managed, we reached the peak, and we had a lot of fun. Cool. All right. I hope you're having a great day, and thanks for watching.